They say ignorance is bliss, but I would give anything to be ignorant again, to stand among those who knew nothing about the woman I married. I never imagined I'd be sitting here, trying to piece together how everything fell apart. But life has a cruel way of handing us the unthinkable when we least expect it. I'm not anyone special. Just a regular man who thought he had it all. A stable life, a loving wife, and a future that looked secure. My name doesn't matter. What matters is the story, the truth I lived through, and the lesson it carved deep into my soul. When I met Grace, everything seemed perfect. She was warm, attentive, and filled my life with affection and care. She made me believe in love again. I fell hard, how could I not? She listened, remembered the small things, smiled like I was her entire world. For a long time, I thought nothing could shake the foundation of our marriage. I thought we were bulletproof. But change doesn't always arrive like a storm. Sometimes it's a quiet wind that turns into a hurricane while you're busy looking the other way. The shifts were subtle at first. She started coming home later. Shopping trips with friends, working late, needing me time. Seemed harmless. I wanted to be trusting, to not become the kind of husband who suspects everything. But then came the excuses that didn't add up. Her phone stayed face down. She flinched when I walked into the room mid-text. Her eyes avoided mine more often than they met them. I noticed her locking her phone, turning away to speak in hushed tones. Still, I told myself I was just overthinking. Grace would never hurt me like that. Right? But doubt is corrosive. It eats away at your peace until it becomes impossible to ignore. And then came the day everything started unraveling. I was having a beer with my friend Mark when he said something that turned my blood cold. I don't want to start anything, man, but people have been talking. They say Grace is seeing someone. It felt like a fist had landed in my gut. I tried to laugh it off, call it nonsense, but the seed of doubt had already taken root. That night, and the nights that followed, were torment. Every smile from Grace seemed forced. Every, "I love you" sounded hollow. I couldn't sleep, couldn't think of anything else. One evening, I overheard her on the phone. Her voice was trembling, filled with nerves I'd never heard before. She ended the call abruptly when she noticed me. Asked where she was going. "Just running to a friend's place," she said, grabbing her coat. No eye contact. No warmth. That was the final straw. I grabbed my keys and followed her. My heart pounded with every mile, every turn. She was driving into an upscale neighborhood I'd never seen before. Then she turned into a long driveway, toward a house that practically screamed money. Parked nearby and watched. Grace stepped out of the car and walked up to the door. A man opened it. He was tall, built, relaxed, and she looked at him like she knew him well. Oh well, not like a friend. More like a lover. Time dragged. I waited, watching the lights flicker through the windows. After an hour, I couldn't sit still. My chest was on fire with suspicion and betrayal. I approached the house and knocked. The man opened the door, shirtless. He didn't look surprised, just amused. "Can I help you?" he said smugly. I brushed past him, my blood boiling. And there she was. Grace, sitting on the couch in nothing but her underwear, her face frozen when she saw me. She didn't even try to run or cover up. She just stared, pale and wide-eyed, as if the truth had finally caught up to her. Before I could say anything, the man spoke again. "I take it you're her husband?" he asked with a smirk. Then he turned to Grace. "You didn't tell him, did you?" My stomach twisted. "She was a prostitute," he said flatly. "Paid me to stay quiet for years. I figured he deserved to know." I looked at her, praying for a denial, an explanation, anything. But she said nothing. Her lips trembled, her hands shook, but the truth was clear in her silence. The rest of that night is a blur. Rage, heartbreak, confusion. It all blurred into a storm of emotions I couldn't contain. We argued, screamed, cried. She begged for forgiveness. She claimed the past was buried, that she loved me now, that I was different. But I couldn't see the woman I loved anymore. All I saw was the betrayal. Every memory became a lie. Every "I love you" Every shared moment suddenly felt poisoned. The foundation of our life, our marriage, crumbled beneath me. Eventually, she asked the question I dreaded most. What now? And after weeks of agonizing silence, I gave her my answer. I'm leaving. She broke down, sobbed, pleaded, tried to manipulate me with guilt and tears. But my mind was made up. I couldn't live in the shadow of lies. I couldn't unlearn the truth. The divorce was brutal, financially, emotionally, spiritually. But on the day it was finalized, I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Clarity. Not happiness, not peace, but a clean, sharp awareness that I had done the right thing. I moved out, burned the photos, erased the memories one by one as best I could. And if you take nothing else from my story, take this. Trust is not a gift. It's something earned. And once it's broken, it never comes back whole. Love alone isn't enough to make a marriage work. Honesty, vulnerability, truth. Those are the real pillars. Don't walk into love blind. Ask hard questions. Dig deeper than the smiles and sweet words. Because once the mask falls, it might be too late to protect yourself. This is my story. My warning. Don't be like me. Don't ignore the signs. Because sometimes the one you trust most is the one hiding the darkest truth.